was a good kid, always did what he was told. The kind his parents didn't even need to scold, except the time they found him wearing a dress that was bad. The only time he ever got hit by his dad, around 7th grade. He starts to feel this shame, cause other boys start liking girls, but he doesn't feel the same. And some kids start chanting his name, and that 3-letter F word like it was a game. Who's to blame when a young man thinks that who he is wrong, pushing him to the edge when all along he really just needs some affirmation, some acceptance instead of all this condemnation. But he just retreats further within, cause the church, the pastor says being gay is a sin. So he's got no one to talk to at the valley of the shadow of death, with no one to help him walk through. He's got to stay strong, stay focused, stay sane, so he writes poems to escape the pain. He brings his book of poems everywhere he goes, the only way he can come out, but still nobody knows. Then one day this kid steals his book of poetry and posts his words on Facebook for the world to see. Sticks and stones can break bones, but words can cut like a knife, and that was the night that he took his own life.
These are memories of life and love gone wrong. How can I find the strength within myself to be strong? But don't forget me, cause we are the same. And when I'm gone, who's to blame?
She wakes up in the middle of the night once again to the sound of a mother and a father in a fight, wishing it was all a bad dream. And she hears the sound of flesh striking flesh, and her mother screams, but she loves them both, so she blocks it out, knowing her parents' love's the one thing she couldn't do without. And she starts thinking that push come to shove, maybe violence is just one way of expressing love. Freshman year she meets this boy who she kinda likes. At first he buys her pretty things and he treats her nice, but soon he starts pressuring her to have sex. But she's only 13 years old, she knows she's not ready yet, and when she tells him no, he starts to hit her, saying that if she really loved him, she'd let him get with her. But when he starts accusing her of cheating, she finally gains the strength to leave him and escape the beating. Then she meets this girl one day at the store, and she starts having these feelings she's never had before. They start seeing each other, and the way they connect, for the first time in her life, she's getting respect. 2 months later, her mom's doing the dishes, and she builds up the courage to tell her all about this new love interest. All of a sudden her mom gets crazy pissed, like I didn't raise my only daughter to turn out like this. She grabs a plate and hurls it to the floor and says, "Get out of my house, you can't stay here anymore." The girl starts bawling like an infant. It's like the plate and her heart both shattered in that same instant. She moves in with their aunt, but things are not the same, and squarely on her own shoulders where she places the blame. The next week she writes a letter to her girlfriend, closes her eyes, pops some pills, and she lets her world end.
These are memories of life and love gone wrong. How can I find the strength within myself to be strong? But don't forget me, cause we are the same. And when I'm gone, who's to blame?
He hops in the car, a nervous smile on his face. He's 28 now, 10 years since he's been back to this place, a place whose halls he knew so well that many times felt like 4 years of living hell. Now he's a talented cartoonist, featured across the nation. In high school, art was his one salvation from the pain of spending 4 years trapped in a closet. When he drew, it's like he could take that pain and pause it and find a new reality where he could be himself, instead of keeping his identity bottled up on a shelf. He contemplated suicide on more than one occasion, and just might have gone through with it, except for the persuasion of a teacher who everyone called Mr. A, although immature kids called him Mr. Gay. 12 years ago he broke an unwritten rule and came out of the closet to the whole school. Some called him sick and asked for his termination, but to this young man, Mr. A was his inspiration, the only confidant that he had. He couldn't even come out to his mom and dad, and now the news had just broke that Mr. A had tragically passed away. But sometimes it's like life comes out of death, inspiring this young man to come back to this place he had left. He contacted the school and asked to be a guest speaker, to talk about art, about life, about his favorite teacher. He talks about his sexual orientation, and at the end he receives a standing ovation. Afterwards, this one boy pulls him aside and says, "I just need to tell you what I'm feeling inside. You proved to me that I can make it through all of the strife. I swear to God, you just saved my life."